Hi and welcome back to my channel. I want to share with you my hardest project to date. I gave my backyard shed a complete makeover last summer. As you can see, our shed was way overdue a makeover. We had lots of leftover dirt and rocks from putting in our gazebo. If you haven't seen that video, it's my most popular one and I'll share it with you with the link above. So we decided to tackle this first, but then we were rudely interrupted by ground hornets. They attacked my son and then later me, but I was able to figure out how to get rid of them with using boiling water. That took care of the problem and I was able to get back to digging everything out. I wanted to use some of that dirt in the compost, so I made another flower bed where the firewood pile was sitting. I used my handy garden hose trick to edge the new flower bed. You just lay a hose right where you want it and then follow the line with your shovel. It works perfectly every time. I love how flexible it is and it gives you such beautiful curved edges. Next, I built a bike shed from a kit that we actually got from Amazon. We struggled with space in our garage, so we decided to add it to the back of the corner of the unused space of our other shed. It was incredible to me that we were able to lift this whole bike shed into place. It wasn't light. I was especially proud of my son, who was only 11 at the time. My dad came over and helped us build a nice frame out of treated lumber to place the shed on. Since it's somewhat of a temporary structure, we didn't want to have to pour concrete, so we just did this where we put plastic down and then we put the treated lumber frame on. We leveled it with some bricks and then we went ahead and built a wood platform since the shed had no floor in it. Not having 6 bikes all over our garage floor has been a huge game changer. And it might be a little silly to have 2 sheds back to back since it's in the very back of our property and the front shed kind of hides it. It's not a big deal to us. Plus, having the extra storage totally trumps having maybe a slightly off backyard aesthetic. All we had to do is lift it back into place and then screw it down to the new deck. It's so nice that the kids can easily get in and out of the shed. Later I bought a ramp too to make it even easier for them to wheel their bikes out. I can link this shed in the description below too if you're interested in adding your own. Alright, now it's time for the main event. Because there was no gutters on the shed, the water had been washing into it and then it had rotted the foundation and the siding. Not only was this an eyesore, but then critters were getting into the shed and it was making it so smelly, which is super gross. Step 1 was to remove all the excess trim and detail pieces that might interfere with the siding. I was so happy to see some of this rotten wood go, as well as a lot of the dated pieces, like this eagle emblem. I'm not sure how old this was. I was super happy to see it leave. And I never liked this light fixture on there. I always felt like it was too small for the shed. Then I wanted to cut off any of the rotten siding. I wanted to make sure it was nice and straight, that way it would be easier to replace. This chalk line ended up being an incredibly useful tool in this project. Then once I ripped off all the rotten pieces, I then repeated the same process on the other side as well. Next I wanted to get everything clean, so we emptied out the entire shed. And when we emptied it, we could see how dramatic of a sagging it was in the back, where the foundation had completely given out, so we're really excited to get that fixed. But first it was time for a good cleaning. It felt so good to get everything pressure washed and cleaned out inside and out. Oh, and I found the source of the smell. There was 2 large mice nests inside. In order to replace the supporting posts, we needed to lift up the shed. I first used a hydraulic hand pump just to be able to get the shed lifted up just enough to be able to slide a car jack in there. Then we slid it up and pumped it up and it lifted up the shed beautifully. This part was actually pretty fun. And in order to lift up one inside entirely, we decided to borrow our neighbor's car jack as well, and it worked out great. I prepped the new supporting beams. I cut them at an angle to match how the other ones were. Then we struggled to remove the existing posts until we realized that they were nailed down. So we used the Sawzall and it popped off really easily. Take a look at how decayed this post was. We couldn't believe it. It was pretty gross. Underneath the shed there was so much dirt and debris, so I got a shovel and I had to clean that all out too before we put the new posts in. Instead of trying to remove the interior post supports, we just went ahead and laid the new supports right next to them. It would have been almost impossible since they were nailed down from the inside. So we only removed the 2 outer posts. But putting those new posts in made it look so nice. It's so nice to know now too that the shed is on a really strong foundation. When we repeated the process on the other side, we were even more shocked with how decayed this was. No wonder the bottom of the shed was sagging in the back. I'll have to say, this part of the project made me feel really cool. The neighbors put out their lawn chairs and they were watching us. I mean, how often do you get to jack up your shed in the air? We highly considered buying a new shed entirely, but between putting on a new roof recently and now having a brand new foundation, we drastically increased the lifespan of the shed. Next it was time to cover up the holes from where I cut off the plywood. So we had some leftover treated plywood, so that did the job. I just cut them to the right size and then just went ahead and nailed them on. I also wanted to hide the front posts on the front of the shed, so I cut a treated 2x4 a couple different angles and then nailed it down there as well. And just so it looked nice from the inside, I put a leftover piece of plywood to cover up the holes. Now that she's structurally sound, it's time to make her pretty. I wanted to go with an all black look, so I painted the trim black too. Now I could have used a sprayer, except I didn't really want to get it on the roof, and I actually hate cleaning out paint sprayers, and with a good audiobook, I didn't mind it too much. Then I installed a more appropriate sized light fixture, and I feel like that looks so much better. Then I painted all the trim on the back of the doors and door frame as well. I took actually a sample of siding into the paint store and had them match the exact black, so it'll match my siding perfectly too. A month early I'd placed my siding order and it came in just in time. I was shocked it all fit in our little minivan. I worked with a small local lumber yard and they took all the shed measurements, then they did all the work for me figuring out what pieces I needed and how much, and they did an incredible job. I want to show you quick too, we use these boards to fill in the gap since the top has an overhang, that way the siding will be even all the way down. This entire shed was a learning curve, and hence why it was the most challenging project to date. It took us a whole evening just to figure out what to put on first, and the shed was uneven everywhere, what made it super challenging. YouTube wasn't very helpful in figuring out, hence why I'm making this video. So the first thing you want to do is put on the bottom piece, it's called a rat guard. This is your guide, so make sure it's absolutely level. Then your top piece, called the Z-trim, it can be uneven, just make sure it matches your roof line. Then you want to measure and cut each piece to fit custom. So the top of your siding pieces will have different measurements on each one. Because your Z-trim has a lip on it, it kind of hides the raw edges of your cut. Once we got rolling, it was actually not too hard and it kind of felt like adult Legos. Another really important tip is that you want to make sure all your screws are evenly spaced. Crooked screws throw off your project completely, making it look very unprofessional. So I measured the top and marked each screw hole, and then on the side we used our chalk line to make sure it was perfectly straight. Later I learned to use a punch tool. This helped guide the screw in a lot easier too. If you're enjoying this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to join my YouTube family. I share home and garden projects as often as I can, and it would mean the world to me to have you along for this journey. Thanks so much for watching. So here on the other side, I'm measuring all sides, marking it down so I don't mess up. Measure twice and cut once. One of my favorite things that I own is this leather tool belt that I found from an old guy's garage sale. It's so nice to have everything on your person while you work, it saves so much time. I love this as a learning opportunity for the kids as well. I followed my dad around like a puppy when I was a kid, and I feel like that's how I learned a lot of my skills that I have today. I was super blessed to be able to borrow so many of his tools too, but you could rent any of these tools that you need as well. Later we realized that the back and the sides were actually the easy part. Little did we know how challenging figuring out the front of the shed would be. Our shed doors were a little bit crooked, so I made sure they were nice and level before we moved on. So there were several issues to work around. First of all, same as the back of the shed, there's this extra little overhang, which made it really challenging. Also, having functioning doors was really tricky. So the first thing that I did was bend the Z-trim in place, that way it could operate correctly. I'll show you how that works a little bit later on. And then because the rat guard hung down too low, above the door I used a piece of Z-trim upside down here to give it a finished look. It was a little hard to get the siding pieces kind of bent and put into place, but it worked and it looked really good. It was also nice that if I scratched anything, I could just easily touch it up later. Then it was time for my arch nemesis, the doors. The first problem was how to make them function. I spent so much time researching and planning how to do this. I made sure the rat guard was nice and even. I cut each piece with a triangle edge, that way when I opened the door it wouldn't catch. Then with the top of the trim, I used Z-trim and I bent it in, that way it will still hide the raw edge of the siding, but it will open, and it worked. Problem number 2 was how to cover the raw edges of each of the siding panels. We thought about using Z-trim, but it wouldn't allow the door to open. So my dad had an idea of using aluminum as edge pieces. So he helped me bend some pieces and then I painted them black to match. Thank goodness none of the raw edges fell on a grooved part because I don't know what I would do. The thin pieces of aluminum slipped right over the edges and worked out perfectly. Then I just cut around any of the hinges that we had that was sticking out to make it a custom fit. Next, I cut out where the new door latch would go, and then once I put it on, I made sure and touched up all the paint. Which leads me to the third problem, which was that the latch wouldn't work over the siding grooves, but I figured out if I used a treated block, then it would function correctly because it was bumped out a little bit. And since that did the trick, then I went ahead and painted everything. So I have to admit that I made a huge mistake when I put on the rat guard on the sides. I didn't know that you're supposed to have the corners fitted together. I thought the corner piece was just going to cover it, so I decided just to add some extra pieces. This was so cool how it worked. I was able to find a tutorial on YouTube for this. With just a few cuts and a few bends, you can make really beautiful finished corner pieces. I'll go back and find that video and then I'll put it in my description for you to use. Then I just undid a few of the bottom screws and added it in. I didn't realize how important it was because the corner piece has to sit on top of that. The top was a little bit more challenging because you have to make a custom fit for each one. My dad had the genius idea of first making a cardboard template. This worked out perfectly. I had a whole bunch of measurements, but I was able to kind of mess around with them before I transferred it to my metal piece. Then I made sure it was a perfect fit. And the last part of this project is the gutters. Thankfully, I had just helped my dad put new gutters on our house, so I kind of knew how to do it. And after doing all those hard things, doing gutters actually felt like a breeze. Adding gutters makes such a difference in the longevity of your shed. So if there's only one thing that you do, make sure you add gutters and spouting, directing the water away from the foundation. I'm usually the general contractor on all our home projects, but my husband is always there to support me, and I don't feel as confident unless he's right there keeping me company. I think we make a good team. Spouting is relatively simple. You just kind of cut away what doesn't fit, and you just play around with the bends until you get what you like. Sometimes you have to kind of bend it in to make sure it fits nice and snug. I couldn't find a black gutter strap, so I just painted it after I was done. Once you get everything fit in place and is nice and tight, then you want to go ahead and screw everything in. And with that, the shed is officially done. Now that's all said and done, would I hire it out next time? Well, it was hard, but now I know how to do it, and every time I see it, I feel so accomplished and proud. Plus, it roughly saved us $2,700. A quick inquiry quoted me $2,000 for labor costs and $1,500 for product. Since I was able to get my own siding under $800, this was an incredible savings. So yeah, I think it was worth it. I've loved watching our shed through all seasons. It's no longer an eyesore. I love how the black just kind of blends into the backdrop of our yard. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Will you be trying this DIY? And don't forget to subscribe, so I'll see you next time. Bye!